recording. So, and what's special to induction motors is that you can operate them without electronics. You just connect an induction motor straight to the three-phase power grid, and it will work. It will rotate, and you can operate it. That we will study that. So, and because of that, the first motors in the 19th century were induction motors, because you don't need inverters. So what happens here, the generator, so in the power plant you have a rotor that is turning around and making a three-phase electricity, and you connect that one, the three phases L1, 2, 3, straight to the motor, and your motor will turn and you can operate it. So no electronics. So the only connection is between the phases and the induction motor is a fuse. If there is a short circuit, you protect your system with fuses. There is a switch, a contactor or a relay, and there is a thermal protection. That's a bimetal. If it gets too warm, the motor gets too warm, it will shut the current. That were the days of induction motors. Here you see the torque of an induction motor as a function of the speed. And you see that first it's, do you have a question on this? You see that it increases with speed and then it decreases. And that's the secret why you can operate an induction motor without inverter. And you will understand why. So let's, sorry, is the question on this?
Not yet, not yet.
No, so then please shut down. Or shut up. So let's assume that you apply a load torque of 45 Newton meters, and this is the motor torque you have for a given voltage. I think this will be just the voltage of the grid, so that is well, this is America, so but it's around 400 volts, something like that. So you apply 400 volts across the motor, and this is the torque speed graph you will find. And my question to you is, if you have, so the motor stands still, you are here, you apply a load torque of 45 Newton meters, what will happen if you apply the 400 volts to the motor? And then I come to you, what's your name?
Sebastian.
No.
Daniela.
Daniela. Daniel or Daniello?
How old are you, by the way? Amazing. Sorry, yeah?
Danielle.
Yeah.
What will happen?
Oh, I didn't listen.
So we start here.
Mm-hmm. 0 RPM and 0.
0 RPM, 400 volts and 45 Newton meter. Who can help?
What's the question?
What will happen?
Oh.
So the motor torque will be 75 Newton meter, whereas the load torque is 45 Newton meter. So what will happen?
That is too low for the load that he has to handle.
Well, you have this situation, eh? This one is 75, this is 45. So you will have a very sharp increase in speed, because so the speed will increase, and what will happen then? The motor torque increases further, so you will even have a faster increase in speed. So you have a very fast speed up. And then how will it end, this story of ever increasing speed? Sorry?
With a sharp decrease in speed.
Yeah, and
a certain torque, if I see correctly.
okay, so at which speed will it end?
1350.
So at this point, the motor torque has become equal to the load torque. So at 1800 RPM, the motor will get stationary, yeah? 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 So you see, you can run this motor only with a constant voltage. How large can the load be at which the motor can start? And then we come to Sebastian. Who can help?
Please, anyone.
75, eh? Right. That's then you just can start it, and then after, of course, yeah. Okay, what's the maximal couple the motor can deliver?
150.
150. What's the maximal speed it can deliver? 1800, yeah, even more, something 2000. Yeah, and the maximal power, where will that be? Yeah, about maximal torque, yeah. Maybe here or so, yeah.
1100.
Okay. That was without any electronics, just connected to the grid. Later, motors started, the expensive motors got frequency converters. And that's nowadays we just call it the inverter. So nowadays you apply the voltage you apply to the motor can be adjusted to the load. So to start up the motor, you first apply a sinus with a frequency of 15 Hertz and an amplitude of 110 volts, so that you have a large starting torque. But you can change the amplitude and the frequency so that you can reach much higher speeds and powers. So because of this inverter, those different curves you can make, you get a much larger operation range. Here the torque speed curve of a induction engine. Do you recognize the behavior? Yeah, that they call the sports edition. So just the big torque. Then what are the losses in an electromotor? Well, the biggest loss is due to the ohmic loss, I squared times the resistance. So of course, most losses are when you have biggest currents, so that means it's slow speeds. Then you have the second loss is the soft magnetic iron loss. And the third one is the resistance loss in the cage. And of course, you do not have that in a permanent magnet motor. This is only in an induction motor. So for that, you see that the peak efficiency of an induction motor will not be as good, because you always have that current in the rotor, which is not in a permanent magnet motor. Then the rotor is only a permanent magnet. And then you also have the losses in the bearings. So can you now explain the difference in efficiency of induction motor and a permanent magnet motor? And can you?
Permanent magnet versus induction. So, analyzing the graph, I would say that you have in a permanent magnet motor, you have the highest efficiency, the mid-range of
The peak efficiency is higher, yeah. But at lower amplitudes, it's getting equal. It's because here you can optimize your slip, whereas here you can't. The induction motor is not so sensitive to temperature because you do not have permanent magnets. So it's more robust. It's much heavier than a permanent magnet, so for that it's not evident that you use it in an electric vehicle. So most car manufacturers do not use induction motors. It has a lower cost because no permanent magnets. So most industrial engines, pumps were induction motors, but now since energy is getting more expensive, it may change to brushless motors or even reluctance motors. No DC motors, no, they are not efficient, so they are gone. Hey, and then the last slide. Nice. You see here again the graph of a DC motor, but now I have extrapolated the curve. This we were used to, but now we also have this part and this area. So who can describe what happens here? So we said we have 6 volts, then if you reduce the low torque you can get up to 600 RPM. But here the story continues. What's going on there? Who can explain? And we were at what's your name?
My name is George.
George. Oh yeah, George. Well, what happens here in the green area?
Well, it's gonna stop increasing in power because in speed. Sorry.
Yeah. So the speed becomes higher than the maximal speed we can provide with the motor.
So therefore, the electric motor will kind of transform into a generator motor.
Yeah.
Because when you increase the power, you're gonna have a negative torque kind of applied. So therefore,
Yes.
you have energy coming into the system.
Yeah. Yeah. So what happens? And then when does this happen in the case of an electric vehicle?
Regenerative braking.
Yes. But how is it possible that at a constant voltage the EMF becomes larger than the motor voltage, 6 volts in our case?
Well, when you don't apply any power,
No, we apply power, 6 volts.
Yeah.
So how can it happen that the speed gets higher than the maximal speed?
Only when there's when maybe you're going downhill
Yeah,
or something like that.
exactly. If at constant speed, at constant throttle, 6 volts, and you have a given maximal speed, but then if you go downhill, it can happen that you increase your speed and then you see that the torque inverts, so that means that the motor will not deliver power but will consume power.
Yeah.
Yeah? So that means yeah, so here the motor delivers mechanical power, here it's vice versa. The motor consumes power and you can charge it, you can charge your battery. Yeah? Clear? Then the red area, what's going on there? Can you explain? What's your name?
Sasha.
Sasha. Can you explain what happens there and how it can happen in real life?
Well, based on the previous explanation, if you require a lot of torque and going uphill, therefore you require much more power. And
Oh, you say this is driving uphill.
as if you would be driving uphill, because
Um,
a lot of torque.
No, but this is what happens here is that you see that the torque gets higher than the torque the motor can deliver. So the mechanical torque you put on the shaft is higher than what the motor can deliver, and you see that the direction of speed is changing.
Oh,
Can you imagine? Can you imagine when that happens? So you apply 6 volts to a motor, and suddenly the direction
so reversing.
reverses, and the torque applied is larger than what the motor can deliver.
Are you braking? Or
You're braking, eh? And your braking torque is getting higher than the maximal torque. Here, the braking torque is as big as the maximal torque the motor can deliver, but you even increase it, so that means that you win, or the mechanical load wins from the motor torque.
that's the torque inside the motor, yeah.
Yeah, this is the torque delivered by the motor. Eh?
And it means that your engine is basically
So your engine wants to go that direction, but the mechanical torque the opposite direction, and the mechanical torque wins. That means that the motor will deliver constantly this mechanical braking, but yeah, the mechanical torque wins. So in this situation, you have that all the power that goes into the motor is lost as heat. So of course you do not want that, because here you have very fast heating of your motor, and because all the power you put in the motor is lost as heat. So here you have to switch off immediately the motor, because it will warm up quickly. So this is called the dissipator mode of the motor. That's normally you do not want a motor in that range. Here is the motor mode, and here you are in the generator mode of your motor. Okay, that's it. Questions? So we have 2 course lectures left. I will switch off the recording.